Hello, and welcome back to the Den of the Monster Ox. I am back with a Mass Effect 3 review. Sorry, it has been a couple of months. I've had a number of really long work weeks and a couple tech issues. We'll just kind of leave it at that. But I think we've finally gotten everything working, so hopefully we won't have any more significant issues with getting this video put together. So, Mass Effect 3, it's the end of the trilogy for the Mass Effect universe. We've got Mass Effect Andromeda that recently came out. I say recently, it's been a few years now. But that'll come up next, and I'm really hoping to get news come November of Mass Effect 4. Hopefully coming out sometime in the next few years. But anyway, Mass Effect 3. You know what? Let's just get into it. Hello, Editor Monster here. So unfortunately, all of my Mass Effect 3 footage is fairly messed up and is nigh unusable. So unfortunately, you're going to have to just deal with my ugly mug throughout this video. Enjoy. I loved this game, and especially once all the DLCs came out. But even the original release version, I still really liked it. There were a couple moments that got fixed with a certain DLC that got released a week after launch. Namely, for those who know, when you walk up to the final Reaper, in the original release version, the companions that you're with end up dying as you walk up, and so that was patched out. So I'm very glad about that. But for the rest of it, it was just an outstanding game. Protagonists just really, I think I was very pleased with pretty much everyone's ending for how like each character wrapped up. Antagonists, Reapers, easily one of the best antagonists I've seen in a video game in a long time. Story development, they really did a good job putting a bow on every single story thread. Environmental storytelling was actually better, in my opinion, than it was in Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. The background stories that were there in Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2 just didn't quite, like, it was more like filler noise, whereas here it was like, no, it's giving you a story for what's going on behind the scenes and on all of these worlds that you're visiting. So just very well done. I really liked it. So, all right. I think that is it for the spoiler-free version of the review. So if that's all you were here for, now's your time to tap out. For everyone else, let's get into it. So, with Mass Effect 3 being the culmination of all the choices that got made in Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, there's so many different possibilities. There's so many characters that could have died, especially after the Mass Effect 2 suicide mission. Like, your entire team could have died, which would completely change the landscape for what could happen in Mass Effect 3. Entire missions change. Entire worlds that you visit. Well, you just may not be visiting those worlds, and you'll be visiting other areas instead. It's just so diverse. So, just due to the extensive cast of characters and all the different possibilities, instead of going through every single character and every single protagonist and what I like about each of them, let's just kind of hit some of the big ones. Again, these characters may not you may not actually get some of these things, scenes that I'll talk about, but or not Rex. I absolutely loved the way that they handled his progression in the series. From a rogue kind of, I don't care about anyone but myself, bounty hunter in Mass Effect 1, to becoming a leader in Mass Effect 2, to, no, I am the face of the Krogan race in Mass Effect 3. Just all while maintaining his, I love his sense of humor. I love Erdnot Rex. Yeah, just top notch, especially once you get into some of the scenes that are with the Citadel DLC. He's just so much fun. And then he has his interactions with Mordin Solus. Mordin Solus, after the events of Mass Effect 2, has been going back through his life and has said, these are the things that I feel need to be corrected. And these are the course changes that I am going to make happen. And so he kind of goes behind the scenes and starts setting the stage for getting the genophage, which is it's basically a genetic disease that groups made to slow down the Krogan race. And Mordin basically said, as someone who helped propagate this, I've come to see that it's not what's right, so I'm going to do something about it. And so he kind of worked behind the scenes to get the ball rolling, to get people to see this, like there is a way out of this. All of that is to say that you get a moment between Erdnot Rex and Mordin Solus where they basically are like, even though we didn't see eye to eye because of our racial, like what our races have done to each other, I appreciate what you've done. Erdnot Rex is like, I appreciate what you've done for us. And then Mordin, yeah, I already gave a spoiler warning. Mordin ultimately gives his life to try to correct everything in regards to the genophage. There is a way, I recently found out, after almost 1,000 hours of playing the game and playing so many different choice paths, I never found this one path that allows you to save Mordin Solus. So there is one, but most endings end with him giving his life for what he believes in, and that moment is just top notch. All right, moving on. We've got Tali Vos Normandy. After the events of Mass Effect 2, she was elected to be one of the admirals of the Quarian people, and basically one of the 5 ruling military leaders. Even though she's not military, she's just their Geth expert, which the Geth, which we'll get into here in a minute, are, or as you may recall from the Mass Effect 1 video, the Geth are a race of machines that the Quarians created, but eventually revolted against the Quarians and then basically kicked them off their own planet, and the Quarians became a space-faring group of vagabonds, I guess you could say. So Tali is kind of using her expertise in the Geth to try to help her people get a homeworld, so that they can have a place to recover during the Reaper invasion. And you just see her growth from this scared little girl. That's not quite, I can't find the right words. That's the closest I've got. That you meet in Mass Effect 1 to being this woman who's a face of reason for her people. When there's so much infighting among the other admirals, she's there to kind of say, no, this is just what I feel is right based on my knowledge of what's going on. And so she leads you back into Geth space. And the Geth just are obliterating the Quarians in the Quarians' effort to get their homeworld back. And they're doing it apparently with the Reaper's help. And so you work with Tali to invade their dreadnought, the flagship, and you're trying to find the source of this Reaper code that's helping these Geth. And when you get there, you find in the heart of that, you find Legion, who is the Geth that you worked with in Mass Effect 2. And he's like, look, I got captured, and help me out. I will help you out. And so now you're working. Tali, who now has a working relationship with Legion, is like, great, we could really use your help, but be warned, my people are going to be very skeptical of it getting any help from you. And he's like, well, we'll deal with it when we get back. So you get back to your ship, everyone gets out of your landing craft, and the other Quarian admirals go there to meet you, and out walks Legion. And they're like, what? What? And you get this amazing back and forth between all the different characters. And ultimately, Legion holds his promise, and you get a wonderful scene on their homeworld where they're fighting to get back, but I don't want to go too deep into spoiler territory here. Like, I don't want to just completely reveal what happens, so I won't. But you get an absolutely amazing moment that I have ruined for myself too many times by not having enough Paragon or Renegade points to for when that scene starts. And it hurts so bad to not have it. So, absolutely recommend this game, but make sure that you've picked a side. Like, there are ways to make sure you have enough points, and still have some of each. Like, have some Paragon, have some Renegade points, but try to make sure that you've got enough points to get yourself through some of these advanced conversations. Anyway, absolutely amazing moment. Very amazing characters. Moving on. I've kind of taken too long on this. Garrus Vakarian, best bro. He just continues to be best bro. Probably my favorite moment for him though is um you kind of look at him at one and during one of the conversations, and it's like, I see a lot more people saluting you now. How far are you from being the leader of them? And he's like, don't even start. So at this point, he's kind of gone from being an ex-cop that wasn't sure if he should follow the red tape or if he should try to skirt around it, kind of go by the law, or kind of go out kind of more vigilante, to then in Mass Effect 2 basically going into taking out the different gangs, taking the lessons that he learned from you in Mass Effect 1, so your choices kind of matter there. And then you take all of that, and that culminates into Mass Effect 3, where he's now the Reaper expert. He's seen what they're capable of. He knows everything about every weapon ever created. He is your, like, you can always find him on your ship in where your weapon battery is. Like, that is where he is. That is what he does. He does weapons. But he's such a good character. The final moment that you have with him on Earth is easily one of the best final conversations in the game, probably tied with Liara's for me. They're just, it's just so good. Anyway, as should be no surprise, that is going to be a 6 out of 5 for our protagonists. Just looking at how long I've been recording, I need to pick up the pace a little bit. So we'll kind of, since some of these sections are a little bit shorter, we'll kind of go through them a little bit faster. All right, our antagonists, the Reapers. They have arrived in force. I still actually remember loading up Mass Effect 3 for the first time and going through the initial cinematic of the game. And it's been, let's see, came out in 2012, so it's been 10 years. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was still sitting there, and we had for me, I had just finished doing a quick playthrough of Mass Effect 1, so I saw us beat one Reaper. Just one Reaper. We lost 10 frigates. We almost lost our whole government body trying to take out one singular Reaper. And then we see the scale of what's going on with the collectors. And it's like, wow, this is a massive ordeal. And man, we've got to be prepared. And then you get the opening cinematic. And in the first cinematic, you've got 3 Reapers that touched down in your city alone. And you're getting reports from all across Earth that they are getting hit simultaneously. So you've got hundreds of Reapers all over the planet just annihilating everything. And then you get out into space, you get back into the central government place, the Citadel, and they are reporting that they've got Reapers on attacking all of their homes as well. And so the scale is just enormous, and you feel it. Like, so often in games or in books, you have and that moment where, how is the hero going to win against these impossible odds? And it always feels superficial. It feels forced, or like it's like, oh no, the hero's just going to between now and when we get to when we're fighting these guys, there will just be some spell or that this wizard will learn, or there'll be this loophole that they'll be able to use, or like the impossible odds aren't all that impossible. But in here, they've done such a good job of building up the Reapers, exposing exactly what their flaws are and how hard it is to expose those flaws. That I shouldn't use the word expose, utilize would be better. But you don't know how you're going to be able to do it, and it takes several long shots, and it takes the ending to to be able to resolve the situation across the galaxy, and it was just very well done. We'll get back to the ending in a later section, but overall, that was a very easy 6 out of 5 for me. I loved the Reapers. I loved what they did with it. Excellent story writing. All right, so environmental storytelling. As I kind of mentioned in the TLDR version, with all the background conversations that are going on in Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, every single conversation was kind of isolated. It was, oh, hey, how is this person doing? Oh, she died in this thing. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, like, okay, you got a little, okay, these guys are doing something. But in Mass Effect 3, it is different. With all these different worlds falling under Reaper attack, all of the conversations are kind of pointing more towards how is this fight affecting the people on all of these different worlds. So you're actually getting, not only are you getting a fair amount of world building, because these people are like, oh, this important structure just fell, like, and they're mourning the loss of this cultural center, or I just lost all of this, all of my family's gone. I mean, so like everything that's going on around you is building up the stakes of what you've got going on. And it's giving you more information as to like what is actually going on. And so it's, if you actually stop and pay attention, there's a lot more that you can learn. It's kind of fun because some of these conversations actually turn into side quests that you can go do, which I actually for everyone who plays it, I would recommend doing those side quests. They give you some important XP isn't so much what you need, but you get the Paragon or Renegade points, reputation points, I guess, which really comes in handy for some of those later conversations. So yeah, just not only do you have like your music, which was excellently crafted and utilized, you've just got all of the background information that's coming in from the people in your environment. So 5 out of 5. I really, really appreciated what they did there. And now we get into story development. So most of the game is actually pretty straightforward. You go, okay, the Reapers are attacking this way. We've got something there that we need to get before the Reapers take it. So you use your stealth drive to get in, get what you need, and get out before the Reapers fully control the system. And you just do that kind of over and over again. You got a few side missions that you can do that kind of change a bit of that, but I mean it's still fairly straightforward. And then yeah, you're basically stalling and you're basically acting as the 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 quick in and out. And you're trying to get all of the different people across the galaxy to be like, "Hey, us humans actually have a way to handle the Reapers, but we need you to work with us." And they're all saying, "We would love to help you, but we're dying on our home planet." And so you're like, "So what if I help you? Will you help me?" And they're like, "Sure." And so you're going and you're helping them. So yeah, just pretty straightforward going through the whole game. The Citadel DLC added probably the only real break to that loop, or to that equation, in the form of the apartment that you can get, and all the stuff that goes along with that. The eventual dance party there at the end. Anyway, just very good DLC. But that does kind of break up the monotony of the rest of the game. I really appreciated it. Anyway, all of this leads up to the ending, and I want to take a couple minutes giving my thoughts on the ending, because I've talked to a number of my friends who've also put a fair amount of hours into the Mass Effect trilogy, and I think we kind of disagree on the state of the ending. So I'd be curious to get your thoughts in the comments, and what you thought of the ending, and to see whether or not you agree with my viewpoint on this. And that is that I do not see a better way for the game to end. So, since we are going to be discussing the ending, heavy spoiler warning. Okay. So at the end, you find yourself on this on what is the core of the Citadel. And you basically meet up with the AI, the actual AI mind that is controlling the Reapers. The AI chooses the form of what everyone in the community calls Starchild, which is essentially at the beginning of Mass Effect 3, you try to help a child. The child ends up getting lasered by a Reaper while you're in a different area watching, and that kind of haunts you over the course of the game. And so this AI mind chooses the form of that child, but it's kind of transparent because it's a hologram. So everyone just calls it Starchild. But it is important to note that it is the AI mind that is in charge of the Reapers that you are talking to. And basically this AI mind is like, "Look, you've learned what my directive was, and I see now that the directive that I was programmed to try to solve is now at a point where there is no way forward. And because of that, I need new input." And so you are ultimately left with, do I go left? Do I go straight? Or do I go right? This massive series where you've had so many choices. This whole video has been, what choices have you made to get to this point? And entire missions have come and gone, or have appeared or disappeared depending on what choices you've made. And now you're down to 3 options, regardless of what other choices you have made all game. Yeah, I can see how that would be annoying. But it's so, like, there's no other way for it. Because when it comes to to ending the Reapers, we knew all game long that there was going to be no conventional way to defeat the Reapers. So the only way for you to defeat the Reapers would be to use the Reapers to defeat the Reapers at the end of the day. And so you have to choose what form that would take. I mean, that just, to me, like, that is the only logical way that could have ended. We knew all along that we weren't going to be the ones to do it. So it just made sense to me. And then you get to choose what form the defeating of the Reaper takes. For those who've already played, I don't want to ruin what going left, going straight, and going right means for those who have not played the game. But for those who have, they know what I'm talking about. And they know what the three choices are. So for those people, I always pick right. I think everyone universally always chooses right. But yeah. And regardless of which choice you got, until, like, most people really hated the fact that Shepard, or like, they always work so hard to try to make sure that Shepard survives, which for it's a little bit easier now with Legendary Edition, whereas in the original Mass Effect 3 you had to actually play the multiplayer in order to save Commander Shepard, which I thought was kind of an interesting mechanic. And I was totally fine with it. In fact, I'll probably, on one of the YouTube streams that I'll be doing coming up over the summer, I will probably spend at least 1 or 2 streams going back and replaying the multiplayer, just because I loved it so much. But yeah, in order for you to save Commander Shepard, you had to do those things. Now it's a little bit easier in the Legendary Edition, but even if he dies, I actually think that is the best ending for Commander Shepard. Don't get me wrong, I like our hero to survive, but for this whole series, I've been talking about how Commander Shepard has no progression options. Commander Shepard is the pinnacle of humanity. There's no, like, when you're already at the top, you can't, like, you don't want to pull a Dragon Ball Z where, oh, I've hit the ceiling, but don't worry, next season we'll break that ceiling to hit the next ceiling. And then, the series after that, we're going to break 2 more ceilings. Oh, but now we're going to, no. That would destroy so much of what has made the struggle that Commander Shepard has gone through. Like, it would just destroy Commander Shepard to do that. So by saying Commander Shepard has reached the top, Commander Shepard has, regardless of if you choose left, middle, or right, Commander Shepard has given their life. I keep saying they because you can pick if Commander Shepard is a he or she. You've given your life to for the future that you created. I don't know. I just think that is the best possible option for a character in that position. Because, yeah, your choices are either to break a ceiling, which then hurts all the progress that you've made so far, or they fall, which for everyone who loves Commander Shepard and loves all the little mannerisms and everything, to see that character fall, I think would just be a massive discredit to Commander Shepard. So let them give their life for what they've been fighting for. Anyway, I absolutely loved how they handled everything. Do I think it's the best ending ever? No. So is it getting a 6 out of 5? No. But I still really liked it. So we'll just go with a 5 out of 5. Alrighty, and with that, that will be it for my Mass Effect 3 story review. If you agreed with the review, please leave a like, leave a comment as to whether or not you what you thought about the game, if you've played it. Also, hit the subscribe button. It'll definitely help me out as I am trying to see if I can't make this channel actually go somewhere. Yeah, there will be a link in the to my Discord. That is where, if you have any game suggestions for games that you think that I should do a review on, get my thoughts on, there's a channel there for that. And yeah, with that, thank you for your patience while I've been going through all of the tech issues, trying to get everything set up again. And yeah, thanks for joining me in the den, and I will see you in the next story review.